Hey there guys, it's Cyber Ultra here. Back in May, Nintendo confirmed that the successor to the Nintendo Switch will be revealed within the fiscal year ending in March 2025. The original Switch is over 7 years old, and with each passing month, fans are getting more and more excited for the reveal and release of the next system. So in today's video, I'll be going over all things Nintendo Switch 2. First, I'll go over my predictions regarding the console itself. Second, I'll talk about what I expect to see in its reveal trailer and the build-up to launch. Lastly, I'll focus on everything I expect from the launch of the system up until the end of its first year on the market. Keep in mind that this is purely speculation. I'm not an industry analyst or any kind of expert on this stuff, and I'm mostly just doing this for fun as a passionate fan. Alright, let's get into it. Let's start by going over my predictions for what the successor to the Nintendo Switch will be. I'll start by briefly going over my expectations for the hardware. Needless to say, it'll be another hybrid system. The Nintendo Switch is underpowered by today's standards, so it's time for a big upgrade in power. I don't want to get too specific with my predictions about the power of the hardware, since I'm no expert on this stuff, but a lot of rumors seem to be pointing towards a system that uses Nvidia's DLSS technology to run games at a much higher resolution and frame rate than it would be natively. I've seen some people float around the idea of a system that's close to a PS4 Pro natively, but then becomes closer to an Xbox Series S thanks to DLSS. I think this would be great since a system in this range would be able to run the vast majority of games on the market and would help with maintaining AAA third-party support for a while. Again, I don't want to dwell too much on this since it's just based on rumors and could be completely wrong, but I'd personally like to see a system around that range in power. A couple other ways I'd like to see the hardware improve is in its controllers. The Switch did an amazing job with its HD Rumble, and the PS5's DualSense controller built on this. I'd like to see Nintendo give HD Rumble an upgrade to build on this even more. Another thing I'd like to see is analog triggers on the controller instead of the digital ones that we've been seeing. Nintendo did do analog triggers on the GameCube controller, but for some reason have stuck with digital ones for every system since. This makes no sense to me since it's practically an industry standard now, and lots of games benefit hugely from the extra depth that analog triggers provide. This is more of a want though, and I don't necessarily predict that Nintendo will do this. Another really important part of the system is its name. What'll it be called? I'm going to go with a really boring answer for this one, but I think it would be a mistake to step away from the Nintendo Switch branding. Some people cite the fact that Wii to Wii U was a terrible move, but I think it's a completely different situation here. The Wii brand was in a really bad spot by the end of the Wii's lifespan, while the Switch brand is still super strong. And the console still has an incredibly active player base, so I fully expect Nintendo to continue building on that brand. My prediction for the name of the next Nintendo system is the safest option, being Nintendo Switch 2. Finally, I want to end this section of the video talking about price, subscriptions, and firmware. I expect the Switch 2 to fall around $400 US. Nintendo really prioritizes keeping their prices down, so the absolute maximum I could see them pricing the Switch 2 at is $500 US. On the note of online subscription services, Nintendo has already confirmed multiple times that the account system they started with Nintendo Switch is what they'll continue to use for Switch 2. So naturally, I think this also applies to Nintendo Switch Online, which I expect to remain their online subscription service. I think that all the benefits that are already available would carry over, including the retro game apps. I'm also sure that they'll have new benefits exclusive to Switch 2 owners, like new NSO retro game apps. Finally, I expect some massive firmware updates to the Nintendo Switch 2. While the Switch's UI was a huge upgrade over the Wii U's extremely slow UI, it lacks personality and is not very feature-rich. I expect Switch 2 to improve in this area and launch with things like customizable themes. I'd love to see Street Pass from the 3DS return, but I don't expect it to happen. Also, some aspects are in need of a major overhaul. In particular, the Switch's eShop is one of the worst digital storefronts out there, period. It needs a complete redesign, because what they have right now is honestly unacceptable for a company of Nintendo's size. With all that said, that's the end of my predictions relating to what I expect the Nintendo Switch to be. Moving on, for the second part of the video, I want to make my predictions for the reveal and build up to the release of Switch 2. In general, I expect them to follow a really similar template to the reveal and release schedule of the original Switch. Why? Because it worked perfectly the first time, and I don't see them changing the formula. The original Switch was revealed in October 2016 in a short trailer, followed by a full presentation in January 2017, leading to its release in March 2017. This time, I expect a fall 2024 reveal followed by a full presentation in early 2025, with a release around spring or summer 2025. In particular, I think the reveal will either be in September or October. Some people have floated around the idea of Nintendo waiting until after the holiday season for a reveal to maximize sales during this period, but I think Nintendo will prioritize having a successful build-up to the next system. This is much more important for their long-term success rather than prioritizing some short-term success in the Switch's 8th holiday season. I fully expect a reveal this year, and I just can't see them doing one after November, so I'm expecting either September or October. This is supported by the fact that Nintendo had multiple important presentations in August, like the Partner Showcase, which we would normally expect to happen in September. Either way, they cleared the slate for a September reveal, or they got those presentations out of the way to go all hands on deck to help them prepare for an October reveal. Either way, I think the reveal is really soon. Rumors are pretty heavily indicating that the system will be revealed in September, and I think it makes sense that Nintendo would want to have the news out there before Tokyo Game Show, where they usually have a presence. So what would be in the reveal trailer? Honestly, I think it would be a pretty simple trailer to showcase the new hardware in day-to-day situations, just like the original Switch reveal. I expect to see shots of people playing new Nintendo games on the system, as well as big third-party games that haven't appeared on the original Switch. I think footage of someone playing a game like Elden Ring or Baldur's Gate 3 on the go would really catch people's attention. Otherwise, it would mostly focus on showing off new features like the brand new controllers. Finally, the trailer would have a launch window for the system. The original Switch reveal trailer reconfirmed the March 2017 release date that they had already mentioned, but I think they'll hold their cards a little closer to their chest this time and simply give a release window. I expect it to release in either spring 2025 or summer 2025. After this reveal, I don't expect a lot of new information until its big presentation early next year. Speaking of which, I think the perfect time to have this presentation would be in January. Last time it was a press conference that was live streamed, but this time I'm leaning more towards a Nintendo Direct focused on the new system. A press conference could still be possible, but digital presentations seem to be the direction the industry is leaning towards, especially Nintendo since the last decade. I see this presentation revealing all of the specifics of the hardware, specifications of the console itself, all the features it packs, online subscription details, talks about backwards compatibility, and all the other questions that normally come up during a console launch. This is also where we would get pricing details for the console and all of its accessories. We'll get the exact release date of the console and learn when pre-orders go up. I don't have an exact prediction for the release date of the console, but I would imagine the earliest possible release being March 2025, with the latest being June. Again, this is purely a guess, and I could be completely off on this one. The reason why I think it would be better to launch earlier in the year rather than during the holiday is because of how well it worked out for the original Switch. A complaint people often have when a new console comes out is that there aren't enough games to play. Releasing earlier in the year allows Nintendo to build a strong lineup of games throughout the year leading up to the holiday season. Die-hard fans will buy the system regardless at launch, so having time to deal with stock issues and build an exciting library of games for the holiday season seems to me like a recipe for success. On another note, while I don't think this would be mentioned in the presentation, I unfortunately think that the standard price for first-party Switch games will go up to $70 US. It sucks, but most big gaming companies have made this the standard for next-gen AAA games. This presentation is also where the major game announcements would take place. While we'll probably already have seen teases of many games in the reveal trailer for the system, this is where we'll get full trailers for these games and start to get a picture of the system's first-year reveal lineup. I won't talk specifics about what games I expect to see here because I'm saving that for the next section of the video. Another important detail I expect to see in this presentation are next-gen upgrades of Switch games. I think alongside new games, Nintendo will offer upgrades utilizing the Switch 2's improved hardware to make older Switch games run better. While I'd like to see this be a free patch, I can also see Nintendo charging $5 or $10 as an upgrade fee for those who already own the games. I don't know how many titles would be supported from the get-go, but I think Breath of the Wild running at a higher resolution with a better frame rate would be a good starting point. Overall, I think this presentation would give fans a clear picture of what the hardware offers, what the launch date and launch window lineup of games looks like, and other important details like accessories and subscription services. I think that there would also be a rough idea of major games coming out throughout the first year, such as the first reveal of whatever their big holiday title is. For the third and final part of this video, I want to spend some time talking about what games we could see on the Switch 2 early on in its lifetime, starting at launch date. This part of the video is a lot more speculation heavy and is mostly just for fun. I don't have any way of knowing the kinds of games Nintendo is working on right now, but I thought it would be enjoyable to speculate anyway. Firstly, there are two games that I feel have a strong shot of appearing during the console's first year. Those titles are the next Mario Kart and the next 3D Mario game. Both of these series have had really long droughts. For a while, we were getting a new Mario Kart game every 3 years, but now we've had Mario Kart 8 as the most recent game in the series for the last 10 years. I still firmly believe that an original Mario Kart was planned to release on the Switch at some point, but was pushed back to the next console because of how well Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was selling. Either way, a new Mario Kart game has to be on the way, and I think it's the perfect way to stir up hype for the next system, considering Mario Kart is Nintendo's most successful series nowadays. I don't want to spend too much time speculating about what the game will be like, but I hope to see really fresh course designs and mechanics because, honestly, Mario Kart 8 has gotten super stale for me over the years. It's time for the franchise to make a massive leap forward. We're also due for a brand new 3D Mario game. I'm honestly shocked that we never got a second full 3D Mario game on Switch. I know Bowser's Fury happened, but that's a much smaller game compared to Odyssey and just seemed like an experiment. It's been nearly 7 years since Mario Odyssey, so I have high expectations for the next game in the series. I'm hoping to see it build on the creativity and sandbox structure of Mario Odyssey and the connected world of Bowser's Fury, while also not losing the high quality and tight level design of the Galaxy games. I'm excited to see what they come up with, since every 3D Mario game has been a blast. In terms of my prediction for their release, I think it would make most sense for one to be the system's big launch title, with the other being the major holiday title of the year. I could see it going either way. Launching with Mario Kart immediately gives Nintendo a popular multiplayer game, while launching with 3D Mario could be a technical showcase of the next system. Both are also really strong holiday games that could easily fill the slot of that killer holiday title everyone needs to get. I think this would be a recipe for success. Aside from those two big Mario games, we could also see a title from Next Level Games. They usually release titles every 2 or 3 years, and their last release was Mario Strikers in 2022. I don't know if this would be a first-year title, but I think we could see Luigi's Mansion 4 happen early on in the system's life. I have similar thoughts for whatever the Splatoon and Animal Crossing team is working on right now. While this team is only now wrapping up the update cycle for Splatoon 3, working on DLC doesn't seem to slow down the rate at which they release games, since we usually get a new title from them every 2 or 3 years. Considering Splatoon 3 still hasn't wrapped up, I don't expect another Splatoon title early on in the system's life. This feels weird to say, but I actually think a new Animal Crossing game is likely to show up within the first couple years of the next system. I see this as more of a Year 2 title, but one that gets announced in 2025. Animal Crossing New Horizons feels like it was just released yesterday, but it's been over 4 years since it came out, and it's been 2 years since the base game for Splatoon 3 released. This team has definitely been working on something for Switch 2, and this just makes the most sense to me. Other than that, I don't have too many predictions for what a first-year lineup would look like. Honestly, having a Mario Kart and 3D Mario as the launch and holiday titles is my biggest hope. Everything else in between can hit other major audiences, like an exciting action game or a big JRPG. Again, this part of the video was less about serious speculation and more for fun. Either way, I'm super excited to see what games Nintendo's been working on. And that's just about everything I have to say about Switch 2. Thanks for making it all the way to the end of this video. I'm excited to look back at this in the future and see what I got right and where I was off the mark. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like and subscribe. Let me know your hopes and predictions in the comment section. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.